On tonight's 7 UpFront report, we're taking a closer look at the impact the pandemic is having on African American communities. Everything from testing minorities in our cities to making the COVID-19 vaccine readily available to them. Joining me tonight is N. Charles Anderson, the president and CEO of Urban League Detroit in southeastern Michigan. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Mr. Anderson.
Sure. Thank you. Good evening, Glenda. My pleasure.
Well, we're going to begin with getting people vaccinated. What's being done to get shots in the arms of the public and letting them know that this vaccine is safe. There's still concerns out there.
Yeah, well, I think certainly here in Michigan, in the city of Detroit, I think all the efforts are being made to make sure that availability is there, access is there, and making sure that people who want the vaccine can get the vaccine. But I also think there is a need for us to keep trying to communicate to the community, particularly the African American community, that the vaccine is safe. It has been tested. African Americans were most likely disproportionately impacted by the coronavirus, most likely to die. And so now we have this opportunity to get the vaccine. And there is some reservation, some hesitation. About 85% of the people who are getting the vaccine are white across the country. So we need to change that demographic and make sure that African Americans are signing up and getting that vaccine.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to speak with Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist last week. He's leading the state task force to address racial disparities in the pandemic. Do you feel like the task force is making an impact in communities, and if so, how?
I think clearly the task force is making an impact. I think the notion that they are focusing on it, they're bringing attention to it, they're making sure that rules and processes are put in place. I think here, for example, having testing sites in multiple places to deal with those individuals who have trouble with transportation, going to the nursing homes or other locations where people are, like a homeless shelter. I think the focus is really important, and I think the work that they're doing is making an impact. I certainly know it made an impact on the availability of testing. And so now we hope there's going to make the significant impact on the availability and access to the vaccination. And my thing is to encourage African Americans to not listen to some of the negative connotations that are out there, the comments from people who flunked science in high school, being misled, as we know people can be with social media, but paying attention to what the facts are, talking to their own doctor, and making sure that they are protecting themselves and their loved ones from the coronavirus.
Yes, good point. That mistrust can spread so easily, sir. Another concern, of course, in-person learning for our kids. Do you feel like the effect is proving to be harder on communities of color? And are they getting the education they need while staying protected?
I think kids are absolutely falling behind when it comes to their education. Not just African American kids. I think kids all over the place are falling behind. I think the in-person instruction is critical and is very important. When you're talking about studying by virtually alone, one parent is going to have trouble trying to handle teaching for 3 different kids who are in different grade levels with 3 different teachers. Notwithstanding, in some cases, there's only one computer in the house, and you have 2 or 3 people who need to use it, including a mom or dad who might have to use it for work. So I think children are definitely falling behind. Hopefully that legislators will pass some legislation that will allow for schools to get the necessary preparations in place and be able to move kids back into the classroom at least by March 1st, as the plan is. But I think our children are falling behind. I have some grandchildren who would love to be back in school, and I think it would help their education immensely if they were back in front of a teacher.
Well, in the spirit of keeping our communities up and uplifted, Rocket Mortgage promising to hire 10% of its interns from historically Black colleges. Do you think other businesses should follow suit?
Well, I think that's a no-brainer in most cases. I think I applaud Rocket Mortgage, and I think other companies who have made their dedication and commitment to diversity and inclusion should follow suit. There are opportunities, and given an opportunity, I think more and more African American students will be able to excel and achieve. And so Rocket Mortgage is to be commended. I know locally we have companies that are doing a lot of things to assist students with internships, DTE Energy, Ford Motor Company, and of course Rocket Mortgage. So I think other companies should look at this and follow suit.
All right. Urban League President and CEO of Southeastern Michigan, N. Charles Anderson, thank you for joining us tonight and for your insight, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Dave.